To a Brisbane tradie who is making his mark not just as a tradie but as an artist.
Yes, Euan Jones seizes the day getting up at dawn to paint his hometown of Brisbane.
I'm Euan Jones, a visual artist from Brisbane, Queensland. For as long as I can remember, I've been interested in art. I'd always draw what I saw. It was usually depicting reality and everyday life. After finishing school, I decided I still wanted to do art and I thought I had something to give to the world, so I went to art school. But I always had the just passion to paint and the need to show the world what I see. I actually remember sending my dad a message saying, I'm just going to spend 1 year on my painting and I'll work part-time as a gardener. And that was about 3 or 4 years ago and I'm still doing that. I'm not the biggest fan of sitting down in a studio painting hyperrealist or realist works from an iPad or a computer. So painting outside gives me a challenge. There's always the changing weather, people getting involved, whether that's good or not. And you get a better painting at the end of the day. There are quite a few challenges painting outside. First of all, it's a logistical nightmare carrying things back and forth to my car. I probably spend an hour a day moving easels and paints and canvases. Secondly, the weather's always changing, which affects the painting, but also you could get rained on or hailed on or baked by the sun. And also the community is involved. I used to paint further out in the bush where there was no one, but the more and more I paint, the more and more I get closer to society. I enjoy the involvement with the community. I enjoy hearing about how old a tree is or when the road was resurfaced. I also think by having workshops, I can pass on my knowledge as an artist and also gain some knowledge from other people. I have a rather traditional approach to painting. When I start a body of work, for example this one, I start by walking around the suburbs and drawing what I see. Just lots of sketches, probably 10 to 20 seconds. And then I turn those drawings into paintings. I start off very thinly with a terps sort of wash, and then I build that up into a thick, lush and gestural painting. And I suppose my technique is very heavy-handed. I used to not like that about my work, but I've embraced it recently. No matter the subject matter, I always find it important and more interesting to portray and depict the everyday, the mundane, the moments that people miss and dismiss as not worthy of attention. I don't find much interest in painting a vase of flowers. We already know it's beautiful. If I can convince someone that a garbage bin or a traffic cone is beautiful, well, I think I've done my job. The more and more I paint, the less details I include and the more confident I become. In the creative world, my inspirations are always changing. At the moment, being focused on the urban environment, I've been very interested in Robert Malherbe's work down in New South Wales, also Guy Maestri. I've also found Euan Macleod's work for many years just breathtaking. It's their sort of bold, confident approach to the landscape that I really find very fascinating. Coming up with new ideas or a new body of work is extremely intimidating. After a show, it's a very bittersweet feeling. You'll hopefully have sold a few paintings, but at the same time, you're starting from total afresh. What I usually do is I write down all my ideas in my head and then I give them all a bit of a go. So there's a lot of disappointment every day, but you have to work through that and think what was successful and what didn't work out as planned. No matter how skilled or experienced you become as an artist, there will always be unsuccessful attempts and days where nothing works. But there'll also be happy accidents, days where you didn't think something would pull off, but it did. I never let anything go to my head, and I don't want my core values to change. I just stay focused on my goals and what I'm doing, and still maintain healthy relationships with my friends and families, and be a good person.